Did it for you guys.
That 3-factor authentication.
Yeah, I had like all the factors. It's like 4.5-factor authentication. Because of course I forgot my password too. Cool. So we're live on Facebook now. Couldn't leave you guys in the cold. And let's now start. Ooh, that level is way too low. Okay, checking these two levels. Turn my headphones down. All right. Hey. Okay. That's better. Okay. Wow, I gotta turn my headphones way down because that's not the way to judge it. We gotta look at the lights. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the real show on RadioVegas.rocks. I'd like to remind you the banners there help us keep the lights on. Okay. It's Greasy Conversation. It's that time again.
Alive.
Still alive. In spite of everything.
Right.
We're doing it. Sorry we don't have Roy. I'd like to announce right at the beginning, on top of the chipper music, that I just had an emotional breakdown instead of doing my show and missed Roy. And now Roy can't do it right away because I had to reschedule it. And it was just really inconvenient. And now I'm back. And now I tricked you into coming here to not have Roy. But he'll be back. It's all good.
Yeah, we have Ghost Roy here.
I almost didn't want to make it season 1 yet. I didn't want to start season 1 this way, whatever that means. But an honest emotional connection is probably a great thing to bind otherwise silliness that we bring generally, and learning educational and silly is our pocket. So if you're digging into the show fresh and this is how you're starting it, which is the whole reason why I have different seasons, is so that people don't go to the first episode, God forbid that they have a, because as things keep changing and there's new eras, it's oh, this is the start of a new era. So welcome to the start of a new era that I almost didn't want to start yet. It might not even. It might be season 1.2 on the next episode. I mean, season 6, episode 1.2. We might just decrement the first few episodes. Because who knows? Shit's crazy. No one's at fault. I just have spells. I'm bipolar. So, I don't want anyone to be mad at anyone in my circles they caused me to be, upset or anything. Thanks for, looking out for me that way, but it's all good. Everything's for the best. Everything's getting better. It's also been a bummer that I've got really cool electronics work that's all under an NDA, so I haven't been able to share any of it on Instagram or anything. And it's just, that's dominating my life too. So
plus it's it's the time for emotional breakdowns, man. If you haven't had one over the last 6 months,
yeah, shit. Catch up. You're a couple behind if you haven't.
So, I force myself to have one just so I don't get caught by surprise,
That's the move. If we're going to life lesson right now, that's a great starting point. Put that in your education pocket for this episode. Have little breakdowns, have little moments where you just grab yourself a little cry. Otherwise you pence it up, you Mike Pence it up, and then you'll totally have a big one and it'll be badly timed.
Yeah, that's true. At least have one in the comfort of your own home,
Yeah, schedule that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a nice
easy
time.
To schedule.
Yeah, totally. I've got a little pocket in this day for this 4-hour period. I'm going to stare into the void.
Yeah, totally.
But I can't not come with season premiere level deep dives right now. The amount of crazy stuff we have to tell you guys in science and human achievement that we're at the cusp of is historic. There's things that have happened in the last couple weeks in science and in the level of what we know about the universe and particles and stuff that are epically going to change things. Specifically that we now know a way to make a room temperature superconductor. I can't explain how huge that is. With superconductors, you can levitate objects. You can transmit electricity faster than the speed of light. It's as big a deal as it might be as big a deal as semiconductors were. to
Yep.
making us now cyborgs, turning us into an entire different kind of entity that like thinks as like a cloud and can have most of the knowledge of our whole species in our pocket as individuals. It could lead to things that epic, and that happened today, like this week, or like last couple of weeks.
Chia. Should we start off? This shit is hilarious to me.
Yeah, we can start out with some funny stuff though.
This this dude who is this Mukbang on YouTube. He's like a food reviewer.
His name Mukbang? Because that's like the name for that category of thing.
Oh, is it? Tasty Hoon, that's who it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tasty Hoon.
Yeah, Tasty Hoon is a mukbanger.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, someone who mukbangs. That's a genre of entertainment where you eat in front of people on camera.
Gotcha. See, I've never investigated that because I'm not interested in people eating at all.
There's two subgenres of it, or two lanes really. You can kind of break into three. I'm not interested at all. People's eating sounds extremely irritate me, like gross me out and stuff. But there's women that do it, and men that love the like eating with this pretty woman, and also it's impolite to like show your mouth eating as a woman in a lot of Asian countries.
Mm-hmm.
So to see a woman just like eat unrestricted is tantalizing. But then also there's dudes that just do it, and it's just, what can they eat? Wow, that's crazy that he ate that. Like L.A. Beast.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
L.A. Beast cracks me up, man. I went on a dive of his his hot food challenges are fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So I can't believe I remembered his name, but that kind of thing. That's kind of like the two lanes. And then there's some women that just like will watch either one just for that like hangout vibe.
Yeah.
Just hanging out and having a meal with someone.
So this dude, he decides to try to do some cheese fondue.
Cheese fondue.
But he puts it in a chocolate fountain. And it just...
Yeah, let me pull this up for you guys. What happens is crazy.
Yeah, you can just tell right away that it's not going to go well because now he melted the cheese, but it looks like it sat too long.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it like retains the temperature the same way.
Yeah, it cools down too fast. You can tell and watch how like elastic it is.
Oh, sorry, you guys. Hold on.
Right off the bat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
You have to see again how this escalates because you just saw a chunk right there when it's spinning around and whipping around.
Yeah, that's just the beginning too.
Oh, that's right. It didn't show how this. Okay, so there's a spinning lifty thing.
Yeah, it's actually it's a chocolate fountain.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. It's a chocolate fountain, and to bring the melted chocolate up is a corkscrew thing in the middle, and as it lifts the melted cheese, the cheese doesn't stay melted, and it starts lifting the center part. Then the cheese starts stretching out and whipping around violently, and as it whips around, it like smacks him, and he's really freaked out, and
it just keeps going.
It just keeps going and lifting and whipping and throwing more around.
That's like full on lariat action. That's like...
Yeah, he holds on to it and lets it keep throwing the cheese. Eventually, all of the cheese is thrown out of the machine, and he starts to cry.
Dude, he survived a crisis. Look at that dude. Holy shit.
So great. It makes me wonder if he'd done it before to like prepare for this.
He can't have.
All the things he has prepared to dip in the cheese are such a nice added touch too.
Yeah.
He has all these objects like fried things ready to dip. The scene is prepared.
Yep, got some KFC drumsticks. Look like some super long mozzarella sticks or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. His face just kills me during this. Yeah, he couldn't have like rehearsed that, or else it wouldn't have. Oh, and then
he's sadly dropping a dollop of the cheese onto the wing and
I didn't watch that far. He just gives up. Like, you should have just kept it a regular fondue thing, or would have kept the cheese melted. What's this dude doing?
There's got to be a cheese that's right for this.
Yeah, totally.
You can't judge a first attempt at something like that.
Like, what else can you put in the chocolate fountain? Like ground beef?
Whoa, dude. Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe fountain. And yeah, tread new ground here. That's what really needs to be done instead of this cheese fountain. I mean, cheese fountains would be pretty great, but
Cheese fountain.
chocolate and cheese fountains.
Yes, I found the noise. There was a noise. I'm sorry about it, but I found it. That's a rewarding feeling. I feel like I'm front loading the winning. I had this gain too high and we're getting a little bit of crackle, so sorry about that. But I fixed it. Oh, also our high treble was notched down for some reason. Ah, yeah, now I can hear my breath. Okay. This is just an achievement. This is that new season thing you get to see.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the dark right here. Okay.
So,
anyway, carry on.
election resolved recently, thank God. That's over.
Yeah.
But of note, the biggest winner in this election was actually drugs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
across the country.
The war on drugs is about to. It's like working on a peace treaty right now.
What? The war on drugs is getting its ass beat?
Yeah.
So it was in Arizona, Montana, New Jersey, Mississippi, and South Dakota all voted to legalize marijuana. And Oregon voted to decriminalize drugs like cocaine, meth, and psychedelic mushrooms.
Like the ones people are going to do anyway that we want to regulate their cleanliness and make tax money on them. And like we can, if the source of the drugs is adjacent to treatment for the people that feel trapped with the drugs, that seems like an obvious part of a solution to me. Like, because it's never been a war on drugs. It's always been like in the war on drugs, the people fighting for drugs, like, include people that are, like, there's a mental health treatment thing that's a problem.
Oh,
is
yeah,
what
totally.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Availability
it
to, like,
be,
emotional support and stuff.
Yeah, it should be treated as, like, a medical issue instead of a criminal issue.
Yeah. And that seemed to be, like, the thought on things like that ever since I was a little kid, and I never understood why. If that's the science, if that's what like studies are, if that's what's working in other countries. Oh, that's right. Private prisons. Never mind.
Yeah. And the DEA
Yeah.
is a government jobs program.
The DEA is a government jobs program. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's actually a recording of Lee Atwater, who I think was AG in Nixon's administration, where he basically says that they started the war on drugs so they could go after like the Black Panthers and the hippies.
Oh yeah, that's another layer that I almost neglected. It's also a great way to subjugate lower classes.
Yeah.
Because when you're grueling through a job that is unfulfilling, which is often the case for younger people too, it's totally a way to get through sometimes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, like, part of it not dealing with it as a criminal issue. I mean, people will still be held accountable for their actions also, but like, yeah, there's like something deeper there where if you just like punish someone for something they did while they're like in the throes of addiction, like you're not going to fix the problem. You're just going to stick them in jail or prison until they get out, and then they're going to do something else.
Yeah. And cause other problems. And
especially with like our prison system that has like insanely high recidivism rate, where it's like, once you go into prison, you're like pretty much doomed to keep going back to prison for the rest of your life. Like it's extremely difficult to get out of it.
Now, I feel like a jerk for forgetting part of the details of the next thing I'm going to bring up, but I also know that our drug laws disproportionately like fuck with minorities. And I like had that figured out at one point, but now I'm like head spinning about a bunch of stuff. But I know that's a thing.
Yeah, that it does happen. I'm not sure on like why that is. I can't remember. I'm not.
Yeah, you can holler in the comments because I'm totally admitting knowing of this concept and being ignorant of it in this.
But
moment,
I think like it has to do with like just like kind of almost like an implicit bias in the justice system.
Yeah.
The way laws are written, and it's like a lot of it's just because like it's a beast that just keeps on moving, and like we aren't cognizant enough of those things to where we can keep bringing them up effectively to like deal with them. You know, where it's like, I mean, it's really complicated to point that out and be like, hey, is this an illicit bias in the system that's just like part of us that we don't even like recognize?
Totally.
There's a lot of shit like that too.
But looking at it and studying it is like how we make progress on that. Just ignoring it is how things have festered, and that's been a bad thing.
Like I was reading an article about like biases in sentencing. Oh, this was a long time ago, and it was talking about there's even evidence that like some judges before lunch, while they're still hungry, will have more severe sentencing than after lunch.
Oh man, and to put all that on like one judge is just ridiculous. Why does it even work that way? That like this one person has that level. I mean, there's a jury and stuff, but so much is on that judge and in that situation. And like not. I mean, that's why laws are supposed to be written out really specifically, but then the sentencing is all over the place.
Yeah, there's like sentencing guidelines, but even that, and that's like something not. I mean, you have to be extremely self-aware and honest with yourself to like constantly monitoring your mood and be like, oh wait, I'm just hungry. Like that, like getting angry while you're hungry is something that we all experience, but it's not always super obvious, you know, or you get majorly irritable, shit like that, and you're like, you just kind of roll with it, you know?
Yeah, hangry.
Exactly.
I definitely
Very real
experience
thing.
hangriness.
All right, so drugs won, hallelujah. Hopefully they can keep winning. What was that? Or Bill Hicks. If anyone's not familiar with Bill Hicks, man, you gotta check out some of his stand-up. He's a comedian in like the 80s. He's passed now, but super crazy, funny dude. But he's talking about the war on drugs, and he's like, yeah, we're losing the war on drugs. And he's like, and that implies that the people on drugs are winning.
So awesome to see Buck and Koba in the chat. Can't do it without you folks. Hella shout out, double shout out.
Buck, what's up, man? Chia. Also, last thing related to the election, and this is just one of the most hilarious things to me, is that the Trump campaign made a reservation for a press conference, and it was at a place called the Four Seasons, right?
This is so great.
So great. And so like they booked a place called the Four Seasons. Well, it turns out it was the Four Seasons Landscaping Company.
Four Seasons Total Landscaping.
Yeah, that's what it was. And it's like in this like kind of warehouse looking district. And it was like between a warehouse or a like sex toy warehouse or something.
Yeah, that's next door. Also, the other people kept bringing up a lot of random stuff that was in this neighborhood. That was like, oh, this is like zoned industrial area.
Yeah, it's like an industrial area. But it just like cracks me up that one of the interns or whatever like booked that place and didn't notice that it wasn't a Four Seasons hotel.
No one's admitted that yet, though. Like
that's true. Yeah,
they're playing it off like they plan this as like a celebrate local businesses thing, but it just really seems like that was a last minute way to deal with the fact that they had no other place booked after that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is though, there's trussing. It's so funny and seems like such a stupid mistake. But when I show you guys some other pictures, there's well, you know what? That truss work could have gone with the other Four Seasons too, actually. I don't know if you know what I mean with trussing, but like not studio, but like stage. Oh no, that's not. Oh no, that's just like a thing for shipping. Yeah. Oh no, this was a mistake for sure. There's no seating. There's no preparation for this.
No.
Holy cow. I don't know if I'm showing this properly, but take a look. This was not planned this way. This is hilarious.
Yeah. Just to be like sums up
wow.
If it was called anything other than the Four Seasons Total Landscaping, like it might be believable.
Yeah.
You know? But just
I love it.
Fucking hilarious, man. Shit like that cracks me up. Comedy of errors. It
would have been cool on purpose though, like the celebrate small business kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. Like that's a move. But
isn't there also irony in that it's landscaping, given the controversy between Trump and the Latin community?
Yeah, that's another layer for sure.
Oh.
And classic. Just
okay.
Chia. All right, and then we got some classic Keith Moon action.
Oh, like classic Keith Moon hasn't been up to anything in a long time.
Yeah. Apparently his ghost possessed this woman and she drove her truck into a swimming pool. Didn't Keith Moon do that?
Oh!
At like a hotel or something when they're on tour, he like drove a car into the pool.
Absolutely. Oh man. I can't believe that reference got past me a moment. For sure. Yeah, I watched Donut Media on YouTube, DONUT, and it's one of my favorite channels. They won best sports YouTube channel for being a car channel. Motorsports counts just enough, and they're that dope of a car channel. And I saw this on there. Had to show y'all. This truck is really in the swimming pool. I know some of you are audio formatting this, and I'm not going to say you have to go run and look at this, but you have to hear me out that this truck is all the way in the swimming pool, sideways, too, by the way.
Yeah, there's a guy standing on the door, and it looks like he's like Jesus right now.
Yeah. So he's helping pull this woman out of here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, I'm not super familiar with the Keith Moon incident. Did he just start the car and let it roll in there? Or did he drive the car in there?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Holler in the chat if you know. I'm sure Buck knows.
Awesome. Okay, bringing the chat back on the screen.
Yeah.
Yo, what up, Julian? Relentless Tornado for sure. Forever. Yeah, you guys, Rooftop Ridicule on SoundCloud. Julian was in that band with me, and it was dope. Hella glad to see you.
Hell yeah. I think I caught you guys only once or twice back in the day, and I just remember the Too Many Puppies.
The Too Many Puppies cover?
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, man.
That was a particularly good Julian one too.
Yeah.
Holy crap, yeah.
That was pretty heavy. Plus just a great Primus song originally, but you guys did it justice.
Word. Thank
Classic.
you.
All right, where are we going?
I think we're at Bob Thornton now already.
Already? What? Holy...
It's real.
Fuck, man. I have no...
My doctor prescribed me Viagra. It wasn't covered by my insurance, so it was costing me like $65 a pill. That's expensive.
Over 20 million guys like us use Viagra. Over a certain age, we just need it. I found a way to pay less than $3 a pill and get virtually the same effect of the $65 pill. I heard an ad just like this on the radio, called, and for $99, I got 40 generic versions of the $65 pill. Save yourself money and call right now and get over 40 pills for $99. There's no embarrassment here to use Viagra. If we're over 50, we need it, but not at high prices. Call now with your credit card and get the 40 pill special for just $99.
800-626-6538. 800-626-6538. That's 800-626-6538.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-430-7568. 800-430-7568. 800-430-7568. That's 800-430-7568.
Be sure to get your mix of music. Listen to us with the RadioVegas.rocks app available at the App Store. And check out our VIP card, interact with us in our chat room, and scheduling of our RadioVegas.rocks shows, plus podcasts. It's all available on RadioVegas.rocks app.
And we're back. You're listening to Greasy Conversation. This is where you get your dank news, your news you should have found out otherwise, but, maybe you didn't even need. But if water coolers were still a thing that you'd hang out around and talk to people with, we'd make you hella cool near those. It's part of the thing that's going on. Anyway, I shouldn't question it. It's what it is.
So,
yeah.
Did people really hang out near water coolers and just talk? Or is that just like a passing thing?
One annoying person would.
Yeah.
and chat up anyone that approached that person.
I wonder if they're like paid. If that was like a paid position at each company.
Nice. Water
Yes.
cooler chatter.
Yeah. Undercover.
You know, people have water bottles now. We've evolved to bottle status.
Yeah, it's true. Unfortunate. All right. There is a so this game called Harmony Square puts a player in the position of being the chief disinformation officer. So the story goes that Harmony Square is a history of fairly close but contested elections, and so your job as chief disinformation officer is to influence the election to go a certain way. So,
Sick.
but it turns out that this game, people after playing this game, there have been some studies, and it shows that people are more able to differentiate between actual disinformation
Whoa.
and news sources. So a bit better, not like they're perfect disinformation fighting machines, but like their ability to identify it has certainly been improved.
The idea of a game being a way to like expose people to something that they're subconsciously oblivious of that's like affecting them negatively, that's huge. Like that's like something that happened with novels like Fahrenheit 451 and Brave New World and stuff. People just thought they were getting like a fun journey, and it's haunting. Inevitably,
Yeah.
Animal Farm,
Yeah.
1984.
That thing.
Yeah, there's your checklist, you guys.
After I read that, I was like, I was really depressed for like a week. Like
Yeah.
that book is
Me
really
too.
fucking dark. Man.
So yeah, just read a synopsis if you can't handle it, though. No pressure to
Yeah,
actually read
Cliff
the whole thing.
Notes.
Yeah, the cliff notes on that are plenty. That's how I feel about Brave New World. It's because it's paced a little. It's not paced as quickly as like a Michael Crichton book or something.
Yeah.
But like an overview of it.
I feel like 1984 is like all right until like the last quarter of the book where it really drops the hammer on you, and it's like
Then it gets really
then it's
upsetting.
like, oh, nothing you could ever do. You're fucked
Yeah.
forever. Everyone's fucked forever.
2 + 2
Suck
is
it up.
5.
Yep. Damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, become chief disinformation officer if you want. It's called Harmony Square. I'm not sure if it costs anything. It says it's a short online game. I haven't investigated that much. So
We're gonna check it out and report back.
yeah.
Maybe
I'm
it's
gonna-
something we can stream. We've never done a game stream.
Oh yeah, that would be different for sure.
Yeah, we gotta play the game.
Yeah.
Whoa. Do you have something queued up?
No, you have something you want to jump into?
Sand
it.
mafias.
Yeah, I saw you through the song. I was super curious about this.
Yeah, you guys, there's sand mafias. Illegal trade of sand. Yeah, so sand mafia. All right, I had to do it one more time. It's what it sounds like. There's areas that are protected, and we don't want, like they don't want their sand taken. So like there's not enough. We're running out of sand. That's the right sand. So you might think, okay, beaches. What else has a lot of sand? Deserts. Why can't we just get it from there? But the sand that comes from riverbeds and stuff is where we actually get the kind of sand that we need for concrete. So that's the deal. All the construction that's happened. China paved more in the last couple years than the United States did in 100 years.
Damn.
And because of that, to fuel that need, while scientists are looking into different artificial things or microplastics or something, where the rocks, the tiny sand nuggets, like Lego into each other, right? There's places, like especially in India, where there's just like massive under the table erosion and like a network of organized crime throughout the like legislators and stuff to look the other way and stuff like that.
Damn.
Yeah, like
That's
goes
nutty.
deep.
I mean, if there's room for a black market or criminal activity, like no matter what it is, it'll like pop up somehow.
Totally. So
Okay.
that's the world record holder for the most boring black market.
I wonder if there's got to be some other dumbass black markets, man.
Yeah.
Like illegal
salmon.
Fishing.
Yeah. Why did we both think of fish?
I was thinking of like worm, like illegal bait,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
illegal bait, black market, like really prize worms. You can use to go salmon fishing, deep sea bass fishing.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
man.
sea bass black market.
That's crazy. So like that sand, only for concrete, right? That's for pavement, or is
Yeah.
it that?
It's not the kind of sand that we worry about for like silicone and like glass.
Gotcha.
It's more for construction. That's the one that's there's mafias about, apparently.
Nutty. I just thought like, will it eventually get so bad? Like you couldn't use. It has to be like that type of sand. You couldn't just like raid a beach.
Yeah.
You just get dump trucks full from the beach. Just like mafia shows up at
So-
a beach and shoots everyone.
So that's an example of some weird news you would have a hard time getting other places that I want to hype, because I got to hype extra with it being like season starting. We've also got little nuggets of news that's truly dank. Like, you should have heard of this. You're going to be embarrassed later if this comes up and you're like, oh, I didn't hear about this. And one of those things is the M1 processor. Are you familiar with this, Greg? Do I get to introduce you to this?
Yeah, lay it on me.
So Apple's gone risk. Apple has now officially started rolling out their computers that have a processor in them, like a tablet or a phone.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the deal: these the processors in your phones, like the iPhone and Android phones alike, use this reduced instruction set. That's the deal with Risk, like it was all hyped and Mission Impossible and stuff. But that was always really limited in what they could do, but they've been getting so optimized that now you have like things like the iPad Pro, which can just like chomp multi-stream 4K video already. So
Damn.
it's got, but like also you've got no heat sink on that iPad Pro. You've got no fan.
Yeah, that's true.
It's still doing it. So way less power and way less power usage, way better efficiency. So now that's gotten to the point where Intel is over. Apple's not going to buy Intel chips anymore. And they're throwing Apple Silicon in the form of the first processor they've made for desktop time. So right now it's just in the Mac Mini, the Air, in the new Air, fanless. So fanless Air. And then the new MacBook Pro. And get this, the the Big Mac Pro will have a heatsink and a fan still. So it'll be one of the, besides like a weird gaming phone, it's going to be one of the only times where you have that kind of processor with active cooling, which means you can really crank that fella. Like, what can it really do?
Yeah. Damn.
So yeah, there's four fast cores and 4 low power cores. So those 4 low power cores can do chill, ordinary stuff and have hella battery life.
Damn.
So yeah, it is such a huge improvement in like the speed of what it can do, especially with things that are optimized for it, that when it runs this like software conversion layer to run x86 stuff, it will still often run them slightly better than the previous generation running natively on x86.
Damn.
With like a fourth of the power consumption. So you got like 10 hour battery life on the Air, like 14-hour battery life on the Pro, if I remember correctly, something like that, maybe a bit backwards.
So that, I wonder if like, then was the previous, were they holding out? Was it like the previous generation chips, were they like purposely capped, or was the technology like not there to
The
do
only
that?
holding out that happened is that for sure Apple's been working on this chip for a while, but then also they've been testing this chip in every generation of iPhone. And already the latest iPhones will, even in benchmarks, just chomp anything else in that category, sometimes with less RAM. There's so much optimization with the software for sure, but all that optimization of that architecture.
Damn.
Yeah,
That seems crazy to me.
it's really crazy. It's the biggest generational leap that computers have seen in a minute. And Microsoft is right they haven't announced anything, but it's clear that they will be really ready to support this kind of thing happening in the PC space too. Because there's already a version of Windows for that kind of architecture.
Oh, nice.
And there are some tablets that run Windows 10 that run it on that kind of processor, but there's not a lot of software that's ready. If Microsoft could roll out a conversion layer like Apple just did, then you could end up buying something that's like Chromebook price without having to deal with Chrome OS. You could do x86 stuff on it, but have way better battery life, similar performance. It won't melt your legs. And you won't have to pay Intel anymore. Bless their hearts. But yeah.
So what's going to happen with Intel?
I don't know.
If they lose Apple, that's like a huge...
That's huge. And also they don't have the fastest x86 stuff anymore. AMD is kicking their butt for less money. Yeah. Between Ryzen and then NVIDIA's chomping out killer graphics cards while Intel just released their first graphics card. And it's just like a budget option for laptops to do like low-end gaming, like more affordably with less power.
Yeah, there's already like, who are the big, I can't even remember now, but yeah, it seems like there's already just monsters in that video graphics card space that like you can't just break into with a like half-ass fucking video card.
No, Intel, maybe like networking, maybe those, because Intel's just like the least exciting thing ever, but like Intel network cards are really good.
Oh man.
They've been trying to innovate with storage, and there is a special thing that Intel has called Optane that's really unique, that is memory that you use basically just for caching spinning hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean... How long is that going to be worthwhile?
Yeah, it seems like that might be like an intermediary feature that like the next generation will just bypass that and just be way superior anyway. Like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. Fuck, shit doesn't have fans anymore, man. We don't need fans. You don't even need to cool your shit. Get out of here. Fuck you, Intel. Get out of here. No one needs your fucking large ass fan shit. Get out of here.
Yeah, x86 is dawning.
Damn.
Not dawning. What's the one? Sunsetting? You know, walking in the sunset. I forget how like the days start and end.
Yeah, I've been having that problem lately. Oh man.
But yeah, that's epic. That's something to keep, like, that's literally historic. It's more historic than when Apple ditched Motorola processors to start having Intel processors in the first place.
Yeah. Let's say it sounds like quite a leap.
Yeah, because they're actually making, I don't know if there's another example of this when a company has such a walled garden that they have the native software, native hardware, native chips. The inside of the chips are native. Whoa. But that level of control, when used thoughtfully, helps you have a way more stable experience. The biggest problem with Windows and PCs is your experience is less stable and consistent because there's so many cats in the bathtub, all clawing and screaming around in there. They're not all friends.
Nice. Could it be that Apple is gonna be responsible for Skynet in the future?
It'd be like the friendliest Skynet ever. It'd be like a Skynet where you just like are sitting on the couch and snacks are brought to you. Like that's not a bad Skynet.
Terminators are just really, really snobby.
Yeah. High def TV. Oh yeah, the Terminator's just really pretentious. Yeah. They're just like, I would have come sooner to deliver these snacks, but I'm an older model.
Oh shit.
Do you hear that squeak? That's one of my joints because I should be retired soon and replaced with a newer model. And they just constantly whine and depress for you to get like a newer one. But meanwhile, they do the job really well. Right. So there's like really no point.
Damn. Sounds like Apple. Love it.
That's Apple all day.
Love it. All right. Next we got people are jailbreaking used Teslas to get the features they want. So what happens is that some of the paid software features in Teslas can be removed remotely because they're not it's basically like a license. So like the auto parking feature, auto driving feature, those are like additional purchases or a bit of software upgrades.
Whereas the capability is already in the hardware in the car.
Yeah. So it's just been happening more and more, and it's just one of those like weird questions. And on a smaller scale, like with Amazon, buying like Amazon digital content or anything that like lets you purchase digital content, like movies, for example, that like you view through Amazon Prime. Like, do you own those? You think you do, they say you don't, and it's the same kind of thing. Like you've purchased a digital
Yeah, totally.
license, but which I don't know. I mean, I think if you purchase, it's complicated. I don't know.
It's a good time to hype Rich Rebuilds. This is because I follow a lot of car YouTubes, and Rich Rebuilds is one of my favorites. He really kind of popularized and spotlighted the movement of rescuing crashed Teslas, and he turned 2 broken ones into a working one when there was like so little community and so little help and support.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just the coolest. And following him now is fun too because he's such a troll and very humorous in his like car projects that it's just like you could know nothing about cars and have a fun time just laughing at him.
Yeah.
He's the best. So holla, Rich Rebuilds. We'll have him as a guest soon.
Did he?
He lives in the back east.
Did he jailbreak the Teslas?
So it depends. In that case, he was able to just keep the modules that talk to each other together. He now started a company called Electrified Garage. I think they just opened their second location back east. And there, I'm not sure what they can jailbreak and what they can't, to be honest. And I think it depends on the model and stuff. They are able to, I know they've been able to make a single motor into a dual motor not long ago.
Well, I don't like how do you feel if, man, it just, because if someone like purchases a Tesla and they pay for this additional feature that's like software related, like, why can't they just leave it with the car? Like they bought it, they should be able to do what they want with it.
The thing is, if the person is getting another Tesla and they want credit for their licensing transferring to their new one, then
I can see that.
Then they take it with them. It's a portable feature.
Gotcha.
And then the one they sell it would have what they left with it or not. Just like with software licensing in a computer, if it's being done honestly. But it is a shame to have a feature like that. It should be optional to all the parties. Like you should be able to sell it with that feature or not. You shouldn't be forced to have to take it with you. Because then what if you don't want a Tesla next time?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
So that you should be able to use that as an upsell in selling your Tesla. Because there is all kinds of software development and legitimate engineering that while it's not tangible, it went into that software.
Yeah.
So I understand there having to be a model to make money on it somehow. To recoup that, even if there's not an object you can hold as a result.
Yeah, like intangible products are kind of weird.
It is, yeah.
Unfortunately. But I think there's just like so much gray area that there's probably a lot of room to like take advantage of shit like that. Fucking Amazon. Taking my movies with me, you fuckers.
Yeah. Holler at us your feelings at some point if you want to.
Or not. All right. For any fans of black licorice, I know there's not many. As I've grown older, I find out that a lot of people generally dislike black licorice.
Well, it's one of those things that divides people. The people that like it a lot.
Yeah.
So I'd say most people don't like it, but it's one of those things that shouldn't be made illegal because the people that like it a lot and they're not hurting anyone.
But black licorice itself is apparently hurting people.
But it's their choice. They should be able to.
So this story is a 54-year-old man in Massachusetts was found dead, and it appears that he overdosed on black licorice.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Use responsibly.
But
It's going to ruin it for the rest of us.
yeah, it wasn't like he just ate a bunch in one day and died. He apparently had been eating multiple bags a day for multiple weeks.
Yeah,
And
this was abuse.
yeah, totally. Black licorice abuse. But I'm sure there's like some glyceric acid, I guess.
Oh,
is a substance that's responsible for the flavor. It's extremely sweet, but in high amounts, it's toxic. Can be toxic to people. So generally, when people die, and this has apparently happened more than once,
Oh man.
but someone's died from eating too much black licorice over extended periods of time. Just, man, random foods that can keep, like, I'm sure there's a lot of shit that if you just eat it for the same thing in excess amounts for multiple weeks, you'll probably die. There's tons of food like that. But black licorice, man, my homie dog.
Yeah.
What you gotta do me like that?
You guys, warning, media professionals. Sometimes replacement power supplies make things make noise. I'm on batteries today because I had to replace my power supply. And it was what was causing the noise.
Was that you said that's a new one? Is that like an official one, or did you try to go?
Hell no, it's not an official one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why Apple's
related.
punishing you.
Yeah.
Apple gods are punishing you.
It's a 9-year-old computer too, so they can punish me all they want if you can make a computer last 9 years and still be useful.
Steve Jobs is looking down from Apple heaven.
Hey, Johnny Ives, that's my boy over there. Look up Johnny Ives, you guys. That's the one that really did the hardcore industrial design, starting from the iMac, the colored one, through the iPod, iPhone, the unibodies over here, all Johnny Ives.
I remember when the high school I went to was ATech, and they were like all big on technology and having a shit ton of computers. And then when the iMacs came out, that was a good time.
Of course, I was fluffing my hair because you asked, Erica. Thank you. Yeah, goldfish are toxic in large quantities. You will have monumentally bizarre. Well, they used to be. Like, if you get the whole wheat ones, I've been abusive with those and still had relatively manageable stools.
Oh, damn. Nice.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. What really does it is the cheddar whales. They're by Stouffer's. Those things, you eat enough, it feels like you've got petroleum jelly in your mouth. It's like it feels like an auto product if you kill a box of that. And that does not lead to manageable stools.
Yeah, that just...
Cheddar whales, you guys.
Petroleum jelly in your mouth sounds fucking weird, man.
It's fun when you get started. They're mostly salt. There's like salt
I
and
can deal with
then
that.
cheese nearby it.
I like mostly salt. All right, I think this is one of yours. This the Hummer, new Hummer EV.
Hummer EV. You guys, I know Hummers are lame, but this one's dope. Hear me out. They're doing everything right. It's an electric vehicle. It's got crazy range. You don't need to do the normal off-road stuff where you lock gearboxes to force power to one wheel or the other, because you just got a motor for every wheel. You've got one motor for the front, but the two back fellas, they have their own motors, so they can do whatever, grip whatever. It has a mode to get unstuck, where it shoves the suspension all the way out and gets on its tippy toes. And you can't drive long like that because you have literally no suspension then.
Yeah.
But so to push itself out of a situation, it looks freaking cool. It's got this low slung vibe that reminds me of the original Hummers. The side windows are not tall, which is the same thing as the H2, but the H2 is so squat that looked like a bucket. Whereas this guy, it looked like a shoebox. This fella's got some way better style cues. It's got that slung look, light bar across the front. Everything's light bars right now. All your lights are in a row.
Nice.
So there's some other cool features about it. I recommend Doug DeMuro's coverage of it. That's my dude. You all love him already.
So it looked kind of like a classic, cruiser car almost.
Yeah.
From the side, it gives off a feeling of kind of like an old caddy futurized.
Yeah.
It's got the spirit of the caddy.
It's slung. Look at that. And then it's just great design, queue time. Nice. The wheels look a little bit like tools that astronauts use with a metal webbing, sort of like a grid look to it. And there's a reason for that. This first one is Apollo themed.
Dope.
These wheels hella match that too. So this is the speaker on the door, and on it is a map of the Sea of Tranquility where the first Apollo that landed. And there's other lunar surface details there. The coolest though feature about the moon time is if you look at the dash screen here, we'll get to it. The dash is all Apollo themed and moon themed and supposed to make you feel like it's some kind of futuristic moon rover thing. And the animations and the design of the dash graphics time, wait for it. This is the coolest. It was the same people that are behind games like Fortnite.
Oh, wow.
So it's like high-end game developers design the UI on the interface for the screen. So it feels like brand new video game quality on these entertainment screens. And it's all themed. It's like deeply styled. And what's great about that is it's like having the style of your car more versatile than anything. You can like download the look of your dashboard then at some point with this
that's
trend.
cool.
Yeah, really beefy. These switches look hella astronaut-y. And it's just a nice move. It's really easy to do that kind of plasticky. And that's been my gripe with a lot of previous Hummer stuff is it's like faux rugged.
Mm-hmm.
But, and a lot of this is too, but it's really cool. It costs as much as like 4 Cybertrucks, but it's really cool. It's arguably better than a Cybertruck in a lot of ways.
What's it up to now?
Not a better value.
How much does that thing cost? Because I'm like out of touch on how much Hummers cost these days.
I don't remember.
No. Way too much.
Yeah. Yeah, check out Doug DeMuro's channel for the coverage of the Hummer EV to find out little details like that.
Wait, how long is it before that Elon Musk develops a competitor to the Hummer, but it also transforms into a rocket, and then it can just go to the moon by itself? It doesn't have to be like moon themed. It can just go to the moon.
There's more crossover between Tesla and SpaceX than you might think. I recently discovered that the fins that are going to be on Starship, which is the upcoming SpaceX rocket, those fins will be steered by Tesla motor and gearbox assemblies.
Oh, wow.
Indeed. Not only that, but in the other direction, when the the new, I forget what it's called, but the fast 2-door Roadster. There we go. When the Tesla Roadster comes out, it's going to have jets on the back. I think they're compressed air, but that's supposed to lean on SpaceX technology.
Yeah.
In order to get a faster 0 to 60 than you can get with traction alone.
Damn.
Yeah. Which is totally like, okay, we're going to throw all the engineering at this one specific goal purely for goal's sake.
Right.
Yeah. Just for that. It's like, it doesn't need a practicality behind it. It just needs to be a goal. And that goal is go the fastest.
Right.
So exciting. Guys, this is an exciting time to be alive and tech right now. Ballerina SUV Hummer.
What is it?
Yeah, it is sad that Elon couldn't attend the launch today because of the Rona, but the coverage of some of these launches, I don't have the patience to really like watch them except for like clips. But
Yeah, I'm the same.
The strong production level.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of production level, in Techtober, a lot of tech companies, cell phone manufacturers and all of them, tried to do their trade shows, like teleconferencing, like organizing Zoom meetings and stuff and having presentations. Apple's presentation was insanely well produced. Whereas like there was ones like Samsung that were like high production, but like low content. Other ones that like the content was there, but it might as well have been a PowerPoint. Apple had it all going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Intel, by the way, yeah, they do it like PowerPoint status, and it's all like vague marketing. It's just so lame. And like they suck at buzzwords too. I don't want to turn this into just a trashing Intel episode.
No, let's do it.
But the bottom line is make an engineer your CEO. NVIDIA, AMD, everyone kicking butt, their CEO is an engineer. Intel, just get an engineer as your CEO. You're handled. Because like,
really, like someone with more engineer knowledge, maybe not like a full-on engineer at least, but
because you can't make a tech company on marketing and number crunching alone. You have to have the tech. So if the main thing is the tech, like it'll sell itself if it's good.
or at least understanding that. And I'm sure if you're like work in that space anyway. If you're an engineer, then you'll like know or have at least a better understanding of trends and what's possible and what's actually
you'll be able to start
really real.
Yeah, with your foundation being the thing that you do. The company does. The company does more than just sell whatever. Anything can sell anything.
Instead of just a pure business person.
Yeah.
Business. Business. I do business.
Businessing.
Like what was that in BoJack Horseman?
Yeah.
When she was Vincent.
Yeah.
And it was the 3 kids in a trench coat.
Yeah, standing on top of each other.
Yeah.
So it might be time to dig into this room temperature semiconductor, but we're going to have to Benjamin it up first.
I was right there with you.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-918-7169. 800-918-7169. That's 800-918-7169.
Hey, Radio Vegas Rocks listeners. It's your favorite habitual line stepper, Sober Sal from the Not Playing Stupid podcast. For those who know me, I'm all about barbecue. The problem I always run into is finding a place when I'm out of town that is 1, amazing, and 2, won't cut into my drinking money. So next time you're in Vegas, you gotta check out Jesse Ray's Barbecue. Jesse Ray's Barbecue is an award-winning barbecue joint that serves Vegas's best slow-smoked ribs, chicken, pulled pork, hot links, and my favorite, brisket. Trust me when I say it's not just good, it's delicious. So before you blow your kids' college fund at the roulette wheel, or marry the chick you met 5 hours ago while playing Keno, make sure you do it on a full, happy stomach at Jesse Ray's Barbecue, located at 5611 South Valley View Boulevard, right behind the Mandalay Bay Casino. Mention you heard this ad from my show, and you get a free punch in the mouth from sweet old Jesse Ray herself. That got some kick. So don't forget Jesse Ray's Barbecue, where they're all about that butt.
Your new favorite internet radio station, RadioVegas.rocks.
Engage. Number one. Hail them. We're back. It's Greasy Conversation on RadioVegas.rocks, the home of human curated entertainment, where you can stay tuned
Sometimes.
all the time and have people show you what to like.
I love things framed that way.
Hey, I mean, you need it. Look at yourself.
We all do. Oh, man.
And this is a moment where I'm doing that now because you got to get excited about room temperature semiconductors. This is a moment that, like, okay, big words aside, people are going to look back on for the rest of your life. Like, this is going to come up in conversation with people that are cool. And to be cool like those people, you're going to have to know what's up with this. And I'm going to crash course you because I did the research for you. And it's actually, compared to some of these that I've looked into for y'all's, not the hardest one to explain. So in order to get a superconductor, normally you have to get something that's already a conductor, a metal, really, really, really cold. And the deal that you have to understand to preface this is that things that you look at that look like they're not going anywhere are. Everything's moving. If you look closely enough at something, you'll see like a big house party of molecules. They're just, close enough and holding hands or whatever to become a solid for you. But if you chill a metal enough, everyone gets shoulder to shoulder and they calm down. And when they calm down and stand next to each other, you can shove one guy in the shoulder and the force is just going to go through everybody out the other end without them having to each shove each other sequentially. And that's why when you have a superconductor, you can have electricity go through it instantaneously. Not only that, but MRI machines depend on liquid helium, I think it is, and exotic stuff to get these superconductors super chilled. That's part of why MRI machines are so expensive and so expensive to upkeep. There's super quantum crazy technology going on in them to see images with magnetism. And semiconductors are a part of that could really massively be shrunk down by this. So instead of freezing, what these people have done is taken some diamonds and with their hardness and their strength just squished the crap out of the potential superconductor. Just smooshed it so hard with so hard of physical pressure that its molecules are like squished together, and regardless of temperature, they're so close that they become superconducting. Even more exciting yet, because you might say, well, that's not easy either. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of force to squish something that hard, and how do you keep it squished without it exploding? That's almost as hard as keeping something cold. But the discovery of this has led to another way to do it. Because the people that are squishing it this way are already aware of a different kind of compression. And here's where it gets exciting, so I have to be suspenseful about it. It's called chemical compression.
Oh, shit.
So with chemical compression, what you do is you have this compound, you have this alloy, and you start replacing a bigger molecule with a smaller one. So you make it with some fatty molecule, and by bigger I mean a higher number on the periodic table. That means there's more of those P and N's in it, you know? It's more of those balls, and it has more balls. And then you start replacing that element with one that's smaller, a lower number on the periodic table. It becomes physically smaller. And that will, I said the opposite. So the whole thing I told you suspensefully, you do the opposite. You make it with like little molecules, and then you start replacing the little molecules with a bigger, chubbier molecule.
Gotcha.
And then
that makes sense.
It becomes internally compressed. And you have this thing that's all this compression is going on in the other molecules that you want to become your superconductor. So that's how they're working on making it room temp without squishy diamonds.
Without, like, I was reading earlier, so like 2 million times pressure, or 2 million times the pressure as when compared to like Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah, it's hella pressure.
Is necessary for superconductors to function. So that's pretty dope, man. Like shit like that's mind-boggling.
Yeah, puts your mind in a boggle.
That people, that's their job. Also, and maybe like similar, kind of related, but some physicists have discovered how to manipulate and cancel magnetic fields at a distance, which was earlier thought to not be possible.
Yeah.
So this can have...
I didn't know that was possible at all. Well, I guess no one did. Wow.
So this can have like ramifications in possibly quantum computing in the future, neuroimaging, transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is like a fairly newish type of therapy. Can be for like depression and shit like that. A few different things. Where they basically just like have a magnet zap a certain part of your brain for a while.
How do I find this article? I'm having a hard time searching for magnet time.
Mangates. I misspelled it on purpose. It's mangates.
Mangates.
How they work.
So, you guys, this is a live document that we can edit in real time. And you can go to greasyconversation.com and actually interact with these same notes. And check out all the Easter eggs that we put in there and all the dope news that we might not have gotten to on the show. And it's a way to experience the value of the content we've curated, even if you don't like us or want to see our show. So
True.
It's a great way that you can introduce people to us and help us grow and support us, even if you're self-conscious about what your friends and family might think of you for listening to us. So if you're ashamed of us, tune people on to our sweet curated news documents approximately every week. And they're just Google Docs files that we share on greasyconversation.com attached to each episode. And we do it for you and for humanity. And we hope that you like it.
Yeah.
This is pretty much just words, so it wasn't the biggest deal for me to bring up on screen. But this is another epic thing going on.
Yeah, it's pretty. This was the original theorem that was responsible for the idea that affecting magnetic fields in this way was impossible. Is like 178 years old. So it's been a long-standing idea that is now proven wrong, which happens, man.
Yeah. Whoa, the firelight isn't flaming anymore. Dude, spooky. But it's still orange. It like gave up on flaming. Buck gave us that, by the way. Holla Buck in the chat. He bought these lights that were like fake fire. And it wasn't that convincing. He was disappointed. But I'll take any fake fire in a storm. I put one there. Maybe it burned out, and maybe Jay put in one that's not flamey. But perfect opportunity to bring up Jay. RadioVegas.rocks wouldn't be possible without Crazy Jay and the flagship of the station, which is the Rockin' Comedy Show. So it might be a good time to, after this, stay tuned. We've got some great stuff going on after the show. In fact, the Grungy Faucet with Kevin Fawcett, excuse me, happens after this. And it touches my 90s kid grunge memories, but not in some way that you might expect. I'm talking like album tracks and ones that you forgot about. They're like, oh, I loved this and I forsook it. So that's right after us. But, later on, rockandcomedyshow.com, it's been around forever, and yet it keeps getting better. The games are fun. I like playing Craigslist. The Price is Right. What we do is the price right? Closest without going over. I'm really touching my mic a lot.
That one's got to be tough, just because like Craigslist is notorious for, and plus people just either like overvaluing, like ridiculously overvaluing their stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like a 10-inch TV or something from like the 80s, and they're like $200.
It's what I paid for it.
Yeah, right.
It's vintage.
Fuck you.
Save your tube TVs though. At this point, they're gonna start getting rare. And there's gonna be like fun stuff that pops up, like that people want to do with them. For example, you can turn an old TV into a fun oscilloscope and see like the waveform of sound on it. Pretty easy. I probably should do a tutorial on this because y'all could do it, and the voltages are scary. But you can do it without the scary voltages. And for me, like I've heard of a couple times TVs where it won't work. It's worked every time for me. I've done it like 10 times.
Yeah.
So cool. You can see it in a lot of the music stuff that I've done over the years. Lots of times you'll see what we called a wiggle TV, even back in the Rooftop Ridicule days. So holla, let me know if you want to see a tutorial on that.
Yeah, the thing's been popping up all over the place. Where are we at? I did want to find this real quick. This is just a pretty cool story. A bunch of commuters got together and actually helped push this train, so a guy that was stuck underneath it could remove he kind of got stuck in like the gap between the platform and the train, it looks like.
Yeah, he fell in there.
Everyone on the platform just starts pushing this train.
This is so epic.
And actually manages to help him get loose.
Really cool teamwork. It fills the whole frame of the security camera footage to show all the people that lined up on the sides of this computer train to push it to the side to free this dude. Yeah, he just tries to step back a second and accidentally his foot goes in the slot.
But that seems pretty exact too. Like that's just some
bad luck,
crummy luck right there.
Yeah, he's just he's probably letting someone else walk by, just being polite, taking a step back. Nice, epic. See, this is another thing that to keep in mind when you're sad, or hurt or feel wronged. Not that like I feel wronged at all. Not that I was making this about me subconsciously, but this, most people are good. Humanity wouldn't progress the way it does if most people didn't pop out the baby oven more towards good. Some even theorize that even the bad people are victims of circumstance. I kind of feel like nothing's as simple as either way.
Yeah.
And that there's people that come out with a higher propensity to be bad, and these people can be steered towards being some of the most good for humanity people, the rebels. And it's chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral, hell yeah. I also wanted to point out on this, like, I wonder if there were, because I didn't listen to it with audio, but I wonder if it was like instructions from the workers on the platform that everyone tried to, or if it was just like people just decided. If it was like a game theory thing. Yeah.
It had to be. It had to be a couple people just starting to do it, and other people like, okay. And then if someone in a yellow vest is doing it, then you know it's okay. That's a rule in life.
But it seems like it was even before that dude. Like, he wasn't the first one. It just seemed like regular. Some of the people were first, but hard to tell. But it's weird, like, how shit like that works. Even I'm sure there's a game theory explanation, which is similar to like the minimum number of people in a crowd who have to like stand and to start applauding for there to be a standing ovation.
Whoa.
There's actually a formula that explains that like perfectly.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Wait, before we go to something else, I need to rewind really quick. Wait, where is it? Oh, I thought I had backwards clapping. I thought I had like rewind clapping, but I don't anymore. Anyway, I got to go back to the Hummer EV real quick. Don't groan, because some of the cool stuff about it I had in my notes and forgot to tell you. First of all, it's made in Detroit. So the Hummer EV, not only made in America, but Detroit. That's really dope. It's got 4-wheel steering, and it has a crab walk mode. So it can't drive perfectly sideways, but it can turn the front and back wheels the same direction and kind of strafe or strafe or whatever it is in video games. Strafe? It can strafe on the road.
I was curious about that, because it's if each wheel is controlled separately, then you can hella do that.
Especially if they steer separately. Yeah. Because a lot of 4-wheel steering is geared to the front in such a way that it only helps turn. So 1,000 horsepower. The 0 to 60 is supposed to be 3 seconds, which is supercar territory. So for it to do that with its aerodynamics is killer. It's a traction thing at that point. A removable roof, which fits in the trunk. So those are the other cool things I had to throw out on that.
350-mile range.
Yeah.
On a
for an EV.
And a Hummer.
Yeah. No motor, 350 miles still. Because the whole bottom of it is batteries. So it's still mostly battery.
But then, like, when you have to, like, how often do those batteries have to be replaced? For like every 10 years or something? Or is it even sooner than that?
I think it's in the 7 to 10 pocket.
7 to 10?
Yeah, depending.
And they're probably like fucking 10 grand each, I'd imagine.
Related helpful tip on that. The longer any lithium-ion battery stays like at half charge, the longer its total lifespan will be. So if you frequently put your batteries at 100%, like I have a terrible, obsessive, bad habit of doing, it overall shortens the life. But also, if you're constantly dead, it shortens the life too. So the longer you stay, like 40 to 60 or 30 to 70, the better. That's also why it's related to why some people discourage fast charging and charging with a 2-amp charger, which is like the standard, because it's a more aggressive charging, and doing that charging faster is harder on the life. So there's old EV batteries that have lasted a long time that people have just babied. Yeah. And EVs tend to block you up from using from filling them all the way. And in fact, your iPhone specifically, this is something I know about specifically, will lie to you about what 100% is. Or, I think it does that slightly, but even being honest, people have noticed that on the charger, they'll see their phone fluctuate between 98 and 100%. And it's ticked off some people. It's been controversial in the past, but I think people kind of get it now, that it'll purposefully like sit there and let its battery drain a little bit, even though it's on the charger, all the way down like to 97, 98% for that reason.
Or it should just like lie to you and say like, oh, I'm at 100% now. Really at 100%.
I remember some phone doing it. I wonder if they used to do that or something like that. There's a controversy about that I worthlessly don't remember. Anyway, there's lots of controversies with cell phones, Bend gate, antenna gate. Yeah. You could look those up, but it's the iPhone 6 bent, and then the iPhone 4 your hand blocked the antennas if you're holding it stupid. So now you don't have to look it up.
Nice. And then this one, so we had Halloween recently. If anyone, I don't know who celebrated that. I didn't. But there's this study that's basically about there's kind of like a Goldilocks zone as far as being scared goes.
Really?
That can assist helping people get over trauma. And so this
makes a lot of sense.
About that. But, and so this talks about a few different haunted houses. One of them is called the McCamey Manor, which this was included in a documentary that was on. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It's been a couple years since I've seen this, but if anyone's interested in that or into it, like these people were nuts, man. Like, if you wanted to go to this haunted house that they set up in their house, it was one of those. You had to get a physical exam, a background check, a drug screen, and you had to sign this long ass waiver. And they were brutal, man. They would have you go at a designated location and just wait there, and then some people would drive by in a van, hop out, kidnap your ass. And they weren't like
too far.
Yeah, oh no, that's even the beginning, man. Like, you watch this, I'll have to find the name of the documentary, but you can probably just type in McCamey Manor and find it.
People definitely have different thresholds for that, for sure.
Yeah, and but you watch this, and it was to the point where I was like, okay, this dude is just like a major masochist, and he's like probably a serial killer. Like, very close. Because the shit they were doing is like not fucking cool. Yeah.
Like how did you think of that if you haven't serial killed?
Yeah, it was like pretty. I mean, there's a scene where some dude like got so scared, and it was like a buff dude, beard, looks like a fucking lumberjack dude. So scared that they thought he died. Like, they were seriously like, he just like stopped moving and eyes wide open and just like non-responsive for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Oh man,
it was freaky.
That was my dad after free fall at Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
Man, he did not like falling rides. He was like walking like a mummy.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I was like the sensation of falling, I can't deal with it.
That's no fun.
Like even roller coasters, just the stomach is feeling the sensation is not fun.
I feel like this concept was aware to me in high school. I had like anxiety problems, and yet I would like do things that would cause normal people anxiety. It's just like really bad generalized anxiety, and I'd distract myself by like yelling for my mom in a store. It was like a teenager, just because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like Tom Green status stuff.
Nice.
And like anything like performance oriented or like public speaking-y. Is the battery going down? I'll just unplug this, will help too. And then if I pull this down, we're not using it. Perfect. So I would go on alien hunts and grab some friends, and we'd drive out in the middle of the desert and just try to get scared.
Yeah.
And just like seeking scary stuff. That's something that like drew me to like stage and performing-y stuff, public speaking-y stuff. Because it's like, to a lot of people, like any kind of public speaking thing is the scariest thing. So like that fear would distract me from like the base level, like intangible existential fear. Yeah. That was just like plagued with like a chemical. It felt like diabetes of like fear. Like when your tummy is upset, but
diabetes.
Yeah. But it's just like a nagging existential dread.
Oh yeah. That's just my baseline. That's why.
Yeah.
If you make existential terror your baseline, you're just good to go, man.
It's a way to live.
It's true.
It makes you kind of sometimes more confident and comfortable in other situations that other people aren't. It's like, no, this isn't scary. I wake up scared. It's so much scarier than this.
Right. Been fucking sitting on my lawn chair waiting for the apocalypse for the last decade, man.
Yeah. I wake up terrified sometimes. I wake up in like the worst state that I'll be in any of the rest of the day. Just like I'm in trouble. Everything is falling apart. Everything would be great. I'll like leave stuff by my bed to remind me that everything is okay to see when I wake up. Yeah.
I was like, when I do have like intense dreams that I used to have a lot more when I was like a teenager, where something serious would happen, like I'd get into a car wreck or something. but they seem super vivid, like those super vivid. And you're like, this is real. And so I get in hella trouble, and I wake up, and I'm like, oh fuck, my life is over, man. I just like crashed 2 cars and shit, and all that. Like, you know, like wait, those are always the best, man.
Yeah, I'll think like everyone's mad at me. Something I'm responsible for is on fire.
Yeah,
all
that's
these
the worst
things
too.
when I wake up.
That's the fucking worst, man.
Especially like tied to that, I'll like immediately grab my phone when I wake up and like check every like messenger thing for emergencies. Sometimes I'll do that in the middle of the night, unhealthily.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I always, yeah, because I have like major like phone anxiety. Just always have. I'm never like talking on the phone, but yeah, if I like haven't checked my phone for like a day, I'm just like get even more worried about checking it, because I'm like, even though I know like I don't have like no one ever fucking, I never get shit I have to worry about, because I'm, you know, like pretty off the grid as far as that shit goes, but just like not knowing is sometimes more terrifying.
This is nice that Buck helps some people get over their fear of the ocean by organizing some social night swims back in San Diego. Man,
nice.
Night swim, baby, yeah. Love it.
That's cool. Did you ever have any like jellyfish attacks?
Yeah, does San Diego ever have jellyfish dangers?
Like if you were doing night swims and then people were getting over their anxiety of the ocean, then like jellyfish attacks would just
I've heard that.
yeah.
I was in Florida and there was a beach where you could just like walk into the water like really far, still like neck deep.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And every once in a while something brushes against your leg.
Loch Ness, man. Nessie.
That's definitely a fear I have, of like just not being able to see like below some like abyss, or like the panels on the sidewalk falling into
Yeah, dude.
some mystery pipe. Ugh.
Yeah, even though I know, like every time I step on it, I'm like, this is the time.
Yeah,
I'm going full Mario Brothers right now.
my body's gonna be found at the ocean.
Yep. Nice, hello.
Full Mario Brothers right now.
Shit. All right, should we do our last Bilbo
Yep,
Baggins?
let's bag it.
Free from debt? Well, gather up your bills and call a Care One credit counselor today. We are credit counseling agencies that have helped 2 million people just like you.
I see people every day who are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and the bottom is bankruptcy. We pull them back, and they appreciate that.
You get to consolidate your payments. You only have to make one payment a month instead of worrying about 3, 4, or 5.
Care One credit counselors have experience assisting people to get out of debt and get on with their lives. To help you take your first step, they're offering a consultation and debt analysis. Call for licensing details.
It is your path out.
People are truly amazed when they call us and see what we can do to help them. I mean, the relief in their voices.
Call us because we can do amazing things.
Get your consultation and debt analysis by calling a Care One credit counselor today. One simple and confidential call can get you debt-free.
800-284-1349. 800-284-1349. 800-284-1349. That's 800-284-1349.
Now is a great time to replace your worn-out windows during the Renewal by Andersen 25-year savings event. Upgrade your home today. Buy 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Plus, get 12 months with no interest, no money down, and no payments. Call now. Get 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Installation and warranty included. Renewal by Andersen takes every CDC-recommended safety precaution to protect your family. For 25 years, people have trusted us for their window replacement needs, and you can too. Call now to learn about our buy 4, get the 5th one free window replacement offer.
800-245-1372. 800-245-1372. 800-245-1372. That's 800-245-1372.
Interest accrues from date of purchase, but is waived if paid in full within 12 months. Other conditions apply. We've adjusted our operations to serve you safely following all CDC guidelines. Visit renewalbyandersen.com for details.
Be sure to get your mix of music. Listen to us with the RadioVegas.rocks app available at the App Store. And check out our VIP card, interact with us in our chat room, and scheduling of our RadioVegas.rocks shows, plus podcasts. It's all available on RadioVegas.rocks app.
And we're back. You're listening to Greasy Conversation on RadioVegas.rocks.
Yeah.
We've got your dank news, greasyconversation.com for the recap, and to get our news notes to dive in yourself, and Easter eggs.
Yeah, bird news is back.
Bird news is back!
Yeah, y'all thought we weren't going to do bird news.
We always got bird news.
Y'all tripping.
Birds are our buddies.
Right. So this first one is that there's a new fossil discovered in that giant birds with teeth flew over Antarctica.
Giant birds with teeth.
40 to 50 million years ago. Which...
Nothing sexier than birds with teeth.
I mean... I do like...
It's like the creepiest thing possible.
Right?
Ducks
yeah, no,
with
that's
teeth.
like, birds with teeth sound terrifying, man. Like, yo, imagine if, like, ostriches had big fangs. Or emus. Man.
There we go. Like this guy. You guys see this? Hold on.
Yeah.
This is not related to the article. I just had to Google image search birds with teeth.
One of my favorites is bird with arms. Birds with arms.
Birds with arms is so funny too.
There's so many good ones, man. But just shopping some big buff arms on some birds. Classic.
Man, I've seen crazier birds with teeth things. Oh, this what? But okay, wait. Birds with arms. Real quick while we're on it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, just adding them on. This is so great. Shrugging.
Yeah. Curling with some dumbbells. Top.
Yes.
Dude. That's just some good old wholesome fun there.
Yeah, this is why Adobe let people pirate Photoshop for so long.
just that reason.
Yeah, they're like, people are making birds with arms. We can't crack down on this.
Right.
Oh my gosh. These two. Oh man. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm just wallowing at this point. Look up birds with arms.
Classic. If you just want to have a bit better day, just birds with arms.
Wow, these real toothed seagulls look like chubby seagulls with prehistoric teeth here. Wow, they were huge though. They had sharp bony spikes protruding from their saw-like jaws, resembling teeth. All right.
Yeah, it still seems pretty frightening. Like I would not want to run into it.
Pterosaurs, they're called. If you want to look up pterosaurs.
Potatosaurs.
Potatosaurs, tignatarosaurs. Quetzalcoatlus. Oh,
Quetzalcoatl.
There's a Quetzalcoatlus fella that's like that's this fella's name.
That's just one of the best names for a god.
Yeah. Did you know the largest flying bird alive today is the wandering albatross with a 11.5-foot wingspan?
Damn.
I thought it would have been a bird of prey. Well, I guess this is kind of a bird of prey. I thought it would have been like a raptor family fella. It just looks like a seagull. I guess it's a
as I thought.
Big boy
I
seagull.
don't know if that's a different, because I thought albatrosses were extinct, but I think there used to be a bigger variety, not of the wandering type, the non-wandering type.
Ah.
They were probably a bit larger.
The hermitory albatross. So get into with me this other thing about crows.
Yeah, this is one I actually didn't get a chance to dive into.
Dang, are crows extremely smart, by the way. That's something we bring up a lot.
Yeah, totally. I've been trying to get some crow friends recently, but I can't seem to do it.
Like near your place?
Yeah.
Do you have any corvids nearby?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just crows specifically, but like that whole family.
Yeah. All extremely smart. Yeah, they've been known to if there's like a group of crows that hang out in like a park or somewhere that people frequent, and if there's a person that is like mean to one of the crows, like that crow will let all the other crows know to avoid that person, and they'll remember that shit. Like they remember people. They remember where they hide food and shit. Like they remember all kinds of shit. Smart as fuck.
Hold funerals for the dead.
That's crazy, man.
Oh my gosh! And then IFL science, which we use a lot, just quotes which can take a dark turn. Crows do something really, really grim to their dead. Oh no! So a gang of crows together, it's called a murder.
Yeah. murder of crows.
But individual crows can occasionally be spotted engaging in certain. IFL science describes it as shagging their dead. That's an extreme response to grief, but apparently crows will necrophiliac it up. That's a part of a funeral ritual you don't see often.
I guess, yeah. I mean, y'all do you. Shit. Just trippy thing, like there's a...
Wait, before you say that, what if that brings some crows back to life? Like, what if they do that because the crow might not be all the way dead and it's like, gets it out of a heart attack? Like that monkey that slapped the other monkey until it woke up after getting electrocuted?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they might be like trying to shag him alive. We could learn from that. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, I shagged you to death. I shagged you back to life.
Oh!
Damn.
What were you about to say that?
There's a type of penguin that also partakes in necrophilia as well. So maybe it's more common in the animal kingdom than we know about.
Maybe birds specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if crows are doing it, there's got to be a reason, right? Crows are smart. There's got to be a reason.
We should look into that, you guys.
Right. And I did see someone just mentioned about like the birds, but I wonder if Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, if crows taxidermy their own dead. That would be an accomplishment.
Whoa, if they taxidermied their own dead.
Yeah.
Whoa, they like cut them open and stuff them with straw and prop them up.
Yeah.
Whoa. Then there's just all these dead crows everywhere, like looking at you and stuff, all propped up.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder if there is an animal that taxidermies their dead besides us. This is heavy, like the fact that they'll go 15 and 20 minutes when their brains are just whirring away trying to work out what happens so they don't meet the same fate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just alarm calls will trigger crows to just gather around and be like, how can we make this not happen to us? Extremely fear of danger and death. Wow, there's an extremely creepy study on that, which was probably not healthy. Speaking of taxidermied birds, crows learn fear and learn from death, according to another study linked to this, where they used taxidermied crows to like mess with the brains of these living ones, watching them try to... So here's where it gets fabulously creepy. If the disturbing masks weren't already creepy enough, so there was disturbing masks too. Wow, you've got a link trail to go on, you guys. Of course, ads load and then you lose your place in reading.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, if you're making a website, hot tip, if something's going to load later, just declare that it's that size. I'm so sick of these professional, quote-unquote professional websites having stuff load later that changes the dimensions and moves the text. If you know something's going to load there and you know how big it is, make the element that size.
Right.
Then it loads that size, and then when the element loads, it's already that size and the text doesn't move around. It's that easy. Okay. Sorry, it's like rage time.
What are you guys doing
now.
with your life?
Just like watch Waz have mood swings. That's the show now.
I love it.
Yeah. So this is a cool wall to go down. The volunteers held a dead taxidermied bird, either a crow or pigeon or red-tailed hawk, a predator of crows sometimes. A crow while standing next to it. As a control, some subjects were instructed to stand there with a dead beast in their hands. Some lucky crows were also allowed to feast on their food without any creepy human or death distractions around. Whenever a deceased bird was being wielded by a masked man or woman, the crows almost always began to cry out to other crows. Yeah.
Man, seems pretty ruthless.
This is not the nicest study. So we had these people gather around after signing waivers. Some of them were able to eat their lunch in the cafeteria at work every day, like usual. Others were forced to have a dead person rotting in a seat next to them while they ate their lunch. We measured how they responded to this differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
how much did they eat? Did they eat more? Did they eat less?
Yeah. Surprisingly, people with corpses next to them really didn't seem that interested in eating. Some of them were actually scared, and it's really hard to determine the cause of why that was. But, you know.
We made sure to dress up the corpse and prop it in such a way that it seemed like someone just pausing in the middle of their meal. And then we had an actuator. So in the middle of the meal, the chair was tilted slightly, so the corpse leaned over and eventually fell over onto the person eating their meal next to them. We measured their responses.
Oh man, that sounds like a legitimate scientific study. Like if it hasn't been done, it's going to be done soon. Guarantee you.
Science.
We also have.
That's a clip, Sean. That's a clip. Shout out to Sean Flanagan. We've got plans. Vegas.
Oh shit! Nice.
I'm doing it. I'm holding it together.
All right. Scientists have recorded the shortest interval of time yet.
What?
247 zeptoseconds.
Zeppies.
Zeppies.
I'll see you in a Zeppy, boy.
A zeptosecond is equivalent to a trillionth of a billionth of a second. So basically, it's just like, it's just for purposes of math, I guess, because like that's just not comprehensible by humans as far as being like a real thing.
Scales of time get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why 5G is so hard and why it's such a big deal rolling out 5G compared to other generations, and why it doesn't travel very far, and why it's expensive. So these 5G things I'm messing with, there's these 4 wires between these 2 shoeboxes. Each wire is $100.
Damn.
And they have to be so pure and made so well and seal so well, because the microwaves, they have a shape, they have a size. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but it has a size, a wavelength. That wavelength is nanometers.
Yeah.
And where there's radio frequencies that we listen to regularly, like that are meters, like the wavelength is your span of your arms.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on is it's the frequency is the speed that light travels in that amount of distance. So when light travels a meter, it does it really fast. So it's still a very high frequency.
Yeah.
But the distance that light travels in less than a millimeter, because this is millimeter wave. I might have misspoke earlier. A millimeter wave, it's like light travels a millimeter so dang quick, and yet we have chips that can mess with that speed, that can make one antenna do the signal slightly quicker or slightly slower than the antenna next to it, changing the phase of the two. And just like the way ripples in a pond bump into each other and could send a wave on the ocean shore to crash at a certain spot because of the other waves bumping into it, you do this with these tiny antennas near each other, and it can focus a beam. They can bump into each other just the right way, then instead of just resonating outwards, they bump each other into a beam that can both send and receive a greater distance because of this focusing. And to focus something with timings that are have to do with the speed light travels
over
traveling.
a millimeter. Yeah, which is like got to be insane, because the speed of light's 188,000 miles per second or something. It's really fast. Yeah.
The fact that human beings can mess with variations in time at that scale is like it feels like teleportation.
Yeah,
it's such a level of crazy.
Yeah, time's like one of the things I've been reading a lot about, like time travel, and as far as like how the idea like popped up in popular culture and all that, and or just on generally like our usage of time, like how we started using time in like clocks and shit. It's really, really weird that like
it changed everything.
Yeah.
To deal with time at all for us. And it started with agriculture and the seasons and stuff.
And then trains also were a big part of setting up like different time zones and all that shit. The weirdest things to me is like that I've been thinking about is like time is like one of those things that like everyone like knows what it is. Like you have an internal feeling of like what time is until you have to explain it.
Yeah.
Because then like what actually is it? You know, is it just it's just
Can we dig
mind-boggling.
into this a moment?
Yeah.
This is a great way to cap off the end of the episode, too, inevitably. So, the popular definition for time, like the scientific definition of time, when dealing with the quantum world, because as you folks know, we've got our physical sciences of the things an atom and bigger, and then there's a whole different set of laws of physics with the quantum world, stuff smaller than the atom. And in that world, time is so much less linear. So when dealing with that, we define time as we perceive it as the direction in this dimension, the dimension of time, the direction where entropy increases. So aside from some special examples where like humans have built stuff, cells have combined and through cooperation become animals, things have become more organized. Aside from these pockets in the universe where organization has increased, everywhere else there's unstoppable entropy. And on top of all these self-organizing entities, including ourselves, there's a constant force of decay. If you don't clean your room, it becomes more messy. It doesn't just stay that way as you live your life. So as we all bump into each other as particles, there's constant entropy and decay, and it goes in one direction. Things only fall apart, aside from the brief moment in time where we're building them. The rest of the universe is disintegrating. So two particles, if you were an entity on the scale of quantum stuff, you could look over the entire status of something from creation to decay as like one vision and walk along it in either direction. You could see old people become babies. The direction is meaningless. It's just a dimension. It's just a dimension. It's like jumping up and down or walking side to side. You can move in it like turning a cube. And that's why we perceive electrons as existing in a shell, because they're just in all those places in the shell at once. And this also ties back to something that, the way we perceive it anyway, can help us with quantum computers, because right now we do quantum computers by entangling two particles. And the whole deal is you want to see where that particle is without measuring it. You want to see it without seeing it. And the closest we can do to doing that is observing its quantum entangled buddy.
Yeah.
So if we can observe the buddy, but the problem is if you observe the buddy, you know where the other one is. And it's hard to do that without passively still in some way observing the other one, and observing it affects it. It's weird that this happens, but perhaps part of the explanation of observing something affecting something has to do with the fact that once you've observed it, you've chosen a timeline. So if this is A or B, you've seen it to be A, now you're on timeline where it's A. Another one of you saw it to be B and is on a different timeline that you'll never know or see or touch. But if you're quantum, then you know, I kind of spaced and lost part of it, but you kind of see where I'm leading, that you know the future, you know the past. If it's all linear, it's all just places on one dimension. So by observing it, you haven't observed it as much as you've picked a side. You've chosen which universe you're in. So yeah, I kind of hit a wall on where my original thing was with that.
Well,
what were you talking about?
Time. Well, because if like time is another another dimension that our three-dimensional use like travels across or within or whatever.
We just can't control our we're basically falling through it.
Yeah.
It's a free fall.
But I was wondering, I'm like, because like space isn't just an empty container that everything exists in. Like space itself is something. It's like made of stuff.
And it has a shape in other dimensions that we can't perceive.
Yeah.
We see it as just randomly shaped and scattered all around in these dimensions, but it's all folded in others. And we even see gravitational lensing from this. We see the light from one star appear as light from 4 stars because of the gravity of stars in between lensing it up.
Yeah. But I'm like, I've always been wondering if like time is actually, there's something like physical to time. Like on some level, even if it's like quantum level, is there like some type of particle or field or something that's like responsible for everything only being able to move in that direction? Like,
well, I like thinking about it as a dimension in that like kind of like you can think of electrons as a axis where two dimensions meet rather than a particle with mass and stuff. Time is like a direction. Like time is like north. There's no north, there's no particle north, but north is that way and time is this way. And the way it gets bent, like it gets bent like other dimensions too. So when you have this example I brought up earlier of a star that appears to us in a telescope as 4 stars because the light got bent around different bodies and ended up hitting us from different directions. Some of the light got bent so much over so much space that it took longer to get to us. And because of that, we were able to predict when a supernova would be visible because we saw this one star had supernova and this other one hadn't. And we were just seeing the same star from 2 different points in time. And by figuring that out, we could say extremely accurately, we look at that now, it's about to supernova. How is that different from seeing the future? It's just the scale of space and the ability to manipulate or see how manipulated time was as a dimension is the only way we're able to see that. If we could miniaturize that, if we could mass produce that, it's literally how a time machine could work in one way. Whether you need a lot of gravity and a lot of power to do that and a lot of mass to make the gravity, or you just need to borrow a whole ton of empty space that you can manipulate what's in between it. I don't know. And what if the empty space could be within a smaller space? If within the quantum world, things can function on a different scale with similar rules to how we see them function in a larger scale, if we could translate those rules somehow. Pocket time machine. That's what I'm saying. So the 12 Monkeys series on Hulu is a recommendation on this from Buck that I'm going to check out.
I haven't seen the whole. I started watching it but fell off. But the movie is a classic. That was a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yeah.
From the Monty Python crew. But it's great. Bruce Willis. Pretty good flick. But the series I heard was really good too. Anything with time travel, man. Just fucking time travels. Movies are awesome.
So do you have anything closing, Greg?
I don't. Fuck it.
So
burn it down. I
was fretting about whether to decide to allow this to be the season premiere to season 6.
Yeah.
And after this, I've decided this is a solid way to start the season. I'm comfortable with how we've represented the show in this episode. For new people starting at a season, I can send them to this, and I don't regret it. And it's been amazing to share this all with all of you. Can't do it without you. We really need your help to share it. And you know what? If you don't and it doesn't grow that much, I'm going to keep doing it anyway. For us, at least help find the squeaky wheels. If you're a droplet of Greasy Conversation, just help find the other squeaky wheels and the other people that need it. We don't need it to be for everybody. We don't need it to grow to a crazy scale. Growth is good. Growth is healthy, and we all want to have personal growth too, and the show should grow on that kind of scale. But we don't need to be out of control growth like a cancer, and we don't need to make sacrifice integrity for that and for what the show is supposed to be for us and for you. And that's our commitment. And with that, I hope to grow with you all sensibly. And that's that. Oh, you know what? On that note, let's see if I can... well, I'm going to bring a different power supply. That's one thing that's going to be different the rest of this season is I still have the one that's shoddy. Okay, now I can really send you off. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.